Fabulous executive living bordering Oak Mountain State Park. Colleen and David Black, Keller Williams Realty, 356-5412. Call on Colleen.
This is your Weather Xtreme video for Sunday, July the 5th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters, and certainly looks like the next 36 hours or so is going to be a bit stormy for central Alabama. Let's get right to the Skycam network, and here is a look at Decatur. We got some water droplets on there, and you can see the visibility not too good. We can see out over the Tennessee River and the bridge there. Got some drops on the lens down at Gulf Shores as well. So we got a couple of spots of rain going on in the state. We'll look at that on radar in just a minute. No rain currently at Cheaha, but still some controlled burns going on, as you can see down there in kind of the just below the right center of your picture. So a nice view with some clouds, so that'll help keep temperatures down a little bit. Dealing with a bit of a front that sagged down across the southeastern United States, and with a low pressure area on this at this time frame 10Z, low pressure area located around Cairo, Missouri. In the upper atmosphere, we're seeing the development of that short wave that was up in the central U.S. yesterday is moved down into the southeastern U.S., or at least approaching the southeastern U.S. and developing a little better trough. Temperature-wise this morning, temperatures generally in the 70s, although Birmingham kind of the warm spot at 83, a little bit of a heat island effect there, but generally a range in the 70s this morning. And also notice the dew points. They're up around the 70s also, as a matter of fact, ranging from 67 at Calera to 70 at a number of different locations. So definitely low-level moisture is there. And radar certainly tells the story here this morning. As we see, you can tell where the front is basically with a nice band of showers and thunderstorms. Have had a couple of warnings in the Tennessee River Valley, and also some flash flood warnings, as you can see from those green dots. And some of those storms are training because the whole front is not moving that much, and so they're getting some heavier storms with higher rainfall totals, so some flash flood warnings, especially in western Tennessee and approaching or getting into parts of middle Tennessee. Now, I would expect heavy rain is a problem that we'll see here for some spots for the next 36 hours. Storm Prediction Center outlooking a fairly large area from near Vicksburg across Jackson, Birmingham, and Montgomery, Atlanta, Macon, and edging into the South Carolina coastline and the North Carolina coastline. And so it looks like the main threat today is going to be damaging winds, although I expect storms to kind of weaken a little bit due to changes in the low level this morning and into the early afternoon, but we probably will see an increase in the strength of storms later. And again, damaging wind and the possibility of heavy rain is going to be are going to be the main threats. QPF wise, looks like a lot of the state is going to get some rain, but the front settles down into the southern area. The front and the deeper moisture settles down into the Gulf Coast area, and that's where the greatest amount of rain is likely to occur over the next several days. Tropics are quiet this morning. All right, let's get to the 06Z GFS model run. And wanted to point out here on the surface map for today at midday, it looks like the GFS is just a tad slow in the startup here, although I think it kind of catches up after the first 12 hours. By Monday at midday, the trough is essentially kind of over the Mid-South area. A little hard to get the exact axis in there, but I'd say just a little east of the Mississippi River. And lots of storms going on across the southeastern United States. And I think we are going to see kind of a stormy Sunday and perhaps a stormy Monday, with things decreasing in terms of the amount of storminess on early Tuesday. By Tuesday, we're seeing a number of little ripples in the flow. But that should be enough to push the deeper moisture a little further south, and as it does, I think that's going to push the main storm threat and the main rain threat down into the Gulf Coast area. You can see a little bit of sharpening of the trough as a couple of things happen here. One is the flow, or the westerlies, kind of take off, and that leaves a little bit of a short wave back over the southeastern U.S. And but again, that has pushed, or should push, the deeper moisture down along the Gulf Coast, as the QPF indicated. The trough begins to exit the area on Thursday as the 594 heat bubble over the southwestern United States, Texas and Oklahoma, or West Texas and Oklahoma, Texas and New Mexico primarily begins to develop, and once again that keeps the deeper moisture down that way. The problem is I don't think we're going to be able to not mention the possibility of isolated storms here. The 594 heat bubble is kind of the big story, and it noses in across the mid-Mississippi River Valley on Friday. And again, that should keep us in kind of an isolated shower possibility, but I think for the most part dry. That nose of the 594 continues to get into the deep south and the mid-south there, with reaching across Memphis and northwestern Mississippi on Saturday. And not a lot of change, although it retreats just a little bit on Sunday, but that's going to keep us in that pattern with warm temperatures, fairly humid conditions, but also the possibility of isolated storms. And confidence is not really great here as you get further out. Now, looking out into voodoo country, Saturday, July 18th, looks like the East Coast kind of troughiness is still with us, and that is keeping a northwesterly flow across us here, which means temperatures should not be overly hot. But that also keeps us in the prospects of these large thunderstorm clusters or mesoscale convective complexes. And you can see two of them on the GFS. Now, this is a long way out for the GFS to be doing this, and I'm not putting a lot of faith on the exact location, but we're talking about the trends. Well, we appreciate it. I know there's been a long discussion here, but we certainly have a lot to talk about today. Certainly hope that you get some rain today. I know all of us could use it, as we've been dry for the most part over the last couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to getting some rain on my yard. James should be back tomorrow morning with the next Weather Extreme video. In the meantime, hope that you have a great Sunday.